Good morning to all. Myself, Dr. Kumar, Department of IT, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology, SIRT, the SAGE Group, Bhopal. In previous lecture, we were discussing regarding the looping condition, and we have covered the while and do while. In this lecture, we will cover the most important, the looping condition, that is the for. In earlier, we covered the while. We also find the midpoint. We covered the do while, and we have gone through the many practical implementation. So here, this is the for loop. This is the syntax of the for loop. That is the for, that is the keyword. Smaller bracket start, initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, iteration, and smaller bracket close. I am giving the pressure on the, that is the semicolon, not the colon, this is the semicolon. This is the major mistake that done by the students. Even when at the time of the practical and even also in the company interview also. So here this is the semicolon. Now what will happen? First of all, the initialization step will be completed. After that, the condition will be checked. When the condition will be true, it will return 1 and the body of the for loop that will be executed. And when all the statements that are written inside the body, they have been executed, at that time the control comes to the closing bracket. When the control comes to a closing bracket, at that time the control jumps to the iteration part of the for loop. Here inside the iteration, the increment has been done and again the condition is checked. If the condition is true, then the body of the for loop has been executed. Otherwise, the control will come out from the for loop. This is the one most important example. I take the same example as we discussed in the last session. So here the program to count down the 10 using the for loop. I take the class that is the for tick, public static void main. Inside the class, this is the main function. And inside the main function, I declare the one variable, the name that is n, and data type that is the integer. And this is the for loop here, that is the for n is equal to 10. This is the initialization part, this is the semicolon, this is the condition part, n greater than 0. Again the semicolon, again that is the n minus minus. This is the iteration, means increment or decrement part, right? Here the n plus plus, this is the post decrement. System dot out dot println tick, that is the n. It will give the value of the n. Let's see what will happen. Starting, that is the n is initialized by the value 10. So here in the n, now the value is 10. Now the 10 is greater than 0. The condition is true. It will return 1. And at that time, the body of the for loop will execute. Here, when the body of the for loop will execute, there is only one statement inside the body. Then after that, the control will go to the, this is the increment part, last part. Here the one decrement in the 10, that is the 9, will be there. And after that, the condition will again check. And this program will run in the same way till the condition will be true. So let's take a look. That is the program name, that is the for tick. And inside the program, that is the for tick program here. That is this for tick program, that is the open with. I open the program with the notepad. This one, where I will write the program, I will write the program in the notepad and I will save with the class name with the extension Java. So here this is the for tick program. Okay, this is the for tick program. I copy this the class for tick. And here in this program, let's see what happens. That is the, I have to open the command prompt. That is the command to open the command prompt. I am here as usual in the C drive, but my folder in the F drive. I will jump to the F drive. I will write here the F colon. I will press enter. Now I am the F drive. Inside the F drive, I'll see that how many directories are there. So for that, with the dir command, now there is the one directory, that is the pjava, in which my all the programs are there. So I will move to the pjava, that is the cd, that is the change directory, and the pjava, that is the pjava. Now this is the pjava here. Now inside the pjava, now I'll see I will run the program, that is name, that is the for tick, and that is the Java C, and this is the 40, and I will write here the Java because I'm going to compile the program, and for that I will write here the Java C and program name with the extension .java. The program is going to be compiled. The program is compiled successfully, and I will run the program. And how I will run the program? That is the Java. Okay, I will write the Java and put the name here. That is the my program name. Program name is the same name as the class name. Otherwise, it will give the error. So here, this is the Java. That is the 4 tick. Right, Java 4 tick. This is the tick 9 8, and this is the output of that. Now, this is the program that will give the output. That is the 10 to 1. So next program, the program to implement the nested loop condition, that is a nested for loop. That nested for loop. And the program is to implement this structure that is in front of you, right? This program. So here that is the nested for. Now there is the for inside the for, right? Let's see what happens. That is the nested for. Here the nested class is a nested for, and inside the class is the main function. In the main function, I declare the two variable int I and j. Both are of the integer type. Data type is integer. Now I write here for I is equal to semicolon I less than 10 semicolon I plus plus. Inside the for loop, again one for loop, that is the j is equal to I, j less than 10, and j plus plus. Here that is the system dot out dot println, and that is the comma. This is the colon here, and system dot println, and that is the simple. There is nothing inside the print function, and this one. This is the program. Let's take a look of the program. That is a nested for loop, and here that is the nested for loop program. This one, this is a nested for. This program is important from the company perspective, and even though viva voice question also, because inside the program that is in front of you, inside the program I'm going to increase the font size of the program. Now here the font size of the program, there is a 20. Now this is clear for all. So there is the class name, that is the nested for, that simple. Inside the class there is the main function, public static void main function, string arguments. That is the two variable have been declared in I and j. Now here this is the main. Inside that we take the one, that is the for loop, and inside the for loop, this one, this again I'm going to implement it here. This again, this is in this for loop, okay, and this is in this for loop, and this is here, and this is here, and this is here, and this is here. Okay, now this is the closing bracket of this is the closing bracket of this, and this is the, I think so this is clear to all. Now here the nested for loop, public static void main strings. First see the program is being working or not. That is program then nested for, and for that I have to open this command prompt, and here I will write the Java C and the program name dot Java to compile the program, and the I write here. Now there is an error, reach end of file while parsing. There is an error in the program. Okay, it's the one error. Let's check what is the error. Okay, there is the error inside that program. Let's see what is the error inside the program. First count the opening brackets, that is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the closing brackets are 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is the problem here. I put a bracket here and I save it. Okay, and I save it here, and I'm going to now this one. Yeah, program that has been compiled. Yes, compiled. Now I'm going to, that is the Java, and the program name is, that is the nested for. again it is problem there because the sync type that we know we want, that is not there. So let's see the program again. Let's see the program, that is the compile the program. Now I'm going to run the program. That is the nested for, yeah. This is the program output. Now what was the problem? Let's see. This is the output of the program that is in front of you. Now here the class nested for here. First problem was that this problem was here, bracket problem. I put a bracket here inside the 4 and I open the bracket that opened, there were 4, 1 2 3 4, and we have closed this for loop bracket close. This is the for loop, outer for loop bracket close, and here the main bracket has been closed. We forgot regarding the class bracket. We rectified this. These are the some problem that I had done for you. So here the 4, inside the 4, j is equal to I semicolon j less than semicolon 10 and j plus plus. This is the post increment operator here. And here inside the 4, that is the system dot out dot println, print, not ln, that is only the print. Now see the result. This is the result. Now see, let's see what is being going on. See, this is clear to here from class to variable declaration. Let's come here for I. I is equal to 0. 0 values has been assigned to I. Semicolon. The condition is check. I has the 0 value, 0 less than 10. Condition is true. Then the I plus plus. Okay. Then here for j is equal to I. Now here value of I 0, that j is equal to I. Now the 0 is initialized in the 0, that's the j, and here the j is less than 10 because the j contains the 0, so condition that is the true. So here when the condition is true, the control comes inside this, and inside the for loop, that is the inner for loop, there is the system dot out dot println, and that is the colon. Okay, the colon is print here, then the control comes here at the end of the closing bracket, then after that the control goes to the j plus plus. Okay, now the 1 increment is being there inside the j. Now the value of j is equal to 1. Okay, the condition is true. Again 1 dot has been printed. Again the value of the j is that is the up to 9, that is the 1 to 9. So here there will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and this is 10, the 0 to 9. So here 10 dots had been printed in the same line. Then after that the condition will be false. The condition will be false at that time. The control will exit from this inner for loop and then come out to the outer for loop. So here in the outer for loop there is a simple system dot out dot println. Simple, that is the println is there. There is nothing in the this print function. So it will be blank here, and the println, the control that comes on the next line. So here the control that comes on the next line. Then again the I, when the closing bracket of the outer for loop will be there, the control will go for the, that is the I plus plus. So here in the I plus plus, I has been incremented by 1, and that is the 1. 1 is less than 10. Condition is true. Then control that goes to the for body. For loop body. Inside the for loop body there is again for loop. So here j is equal to I. Now the I value is 1. So here the value of the I has been assigned to the j. J is equal to 1. 1 is less than 10. That is the, when 1 is less than 10, at that time the control that comes inside the for body loop, and here that is the system dot out dot println, that is dot. Again the dot, they will be here, and there will be not 10 dots, there will be 9 dots. Okay, because it's starting from not 0, from 1. So and the process that going on till it prints. This was the very good example, and this was the for the Viva bias also, and for the company perspective also, because this here, this line, the system dot out dot println, most of the students, they think that the inside the print there should be something, otherwise it will give the error. So I take this example because of this scenario. So I think so you are now aware about this. Now the next, that is write a program that accept two number from the user and print their multiply. Now see, What is that? This is the write a program that accept two numbers from the user and print their multiply. Now, before going further, myself, Dr. Kumar, Department of IT. Myself, Dr. Kumar, Department of IT, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology, SIRT, the SAGE Group, Bhopal. I welcomes you in this video. So here, the next program, write a program that accept two numbers from the user and print their multiply. Program is very simple. We will accept two numbers from the user and we will go for the multiply with those numbers. But that will accept the numbers from the user. Now here, now here, we import for that we import the scanner class, that is the import java.util package dot scanner. Okay, I will import the scanner class from util package. So I will write here the import java.util.scanner, import the scanner class. That is the simple the class mul user. I take the name, that is the mul user. Inside the class there is a main function, right? Now here I declare the three variable x, y, and mul. Now for that I have to create a scanner class object that can inherit the properties of the scanner class. So here I take that the scanner my obj, you can give the name anything, that is the just like variable, you can use variable name. There's the scanner, I give the name here, that is the my obj is equal to new scanner system routine, that creates a scanner object. Okay, I am creating here the scanner object because I have to inherit the properties of the scanner class. Okay, so here the scanner my obj, that is the name of the object, is equal to new scanner system routine, that creates a scanner object. That the system dot out dot println type a number, as you are very well known regarding this system dot out dot println, which will be written as it is to the console type a number. Now here this is the variable x. X is equal to my obj dot next int function, read user input. This function is for the reading the input from the user. So here this function has been inherited by using the dot operator to the object of that class. My obj is the object of which class? Object of the scanner class. And I want to use the function of that scanner class. I want to use the function of that scanner class. This is the my obj dot next int, that is the read user from read user input, right? So here this is the that input that are given by the user, that will go to x variable. Here the system dot out dot println type another number. Here y is equal to my obj dot next int, here the read user input. So here the again the my obj object is being used with the dot operator to inherit the function of the scanner class. This function, that is the next int function, is inside the scanner class, and when I will inherit the function of this any class, that is scanner class, then I have to create object of that class. So that I create an object of the scanner class here by writing the scanner my obj is equal to new scanner system routine. So here the input from the user, that is the in the y variable. So I have two input from the user, one from the in the x and the second in the y variable. Now that is the mul, this is the logic, mul is equal to x multiplied by y, calculate the sum of the x plus y. This is the system dot out dot print and multiply is, that is the it will give the print of the multiply of the two variable that is given by the user. So here the name of that class, that is the mul user. So here that is the mul user here, and going to the program, that is the mul user, this one mul user dot java. I am opening this and I will open this, that is the this one. Okay, now here this is the program. It will take input from the user and will give me the multiply of that input that is given by the user. So here for that I'm going to run the program. For running the program, I will open this the notepad. Now I am going to the Java C compiler, and here that is the user.java. See here, the program is being compiled successfully here. So I will write to run the program, that is the this mul user, type a number. I type the number 12, then I type number 19, and it will give the multiplication of the 2 to 8. But multiply 12 by 19 is somewhat tough task for someone. So as a testing developer point of view, I will take the simple example, that is the we have to take the simple example that can be calculated in our mind. Suppose I am taking 12, I am taking 12. It should be 144. Yeah, it's 144. It means it is good. So this program give me the output to multiply the two numbers. Right here, this is the multiply with the two numbers. Right, this one. Now this is the now here in this program I use the single line comment, that is the double forward slash. Right now, this was the program that will give me the output or multiply of the user data, that is input from the user. Now again one program that program is almost same, that is the it accept the two number from the user and print their sum. Now see, in this program I am explaining again. First of all, I have to import the scanner class, that is the util package. So I will write here the import java.util.scanner. It means I have import the scanner class. Now I have take the one class, that is the public, that is the add asset. This is the name of the class. Inside the class there is the function, that is the public static void main. Inside that the scanner input is equal to new scanner. Here this is the scanner is the class name, okay, and input is the object name is equal to new scanner system.in. Right, I create an object of the scanner class which is named the input. Now system.out.println input the first number, and when I int num, I declare the variable here. Not that I declare the variable here, that is the integer type, data type is the integer. Num is equal to input dot, that is the input, that is the object, dot next line, next int is the function inside the scanner class. So I inherit the scanner class function with the help of the object, and here I use the dot operator. Without creating object, I cannot inherit the function of this class, scanner class. So here system.out.print input the second number, int num2 is equal to input dot next int. So I again take the object of that scanner class, and the function, that is the next int, that will take input from the user from the scanner class has been implemented here. Int sum is equal to num1 plus num2. So here the num1, that is the first number, that is the input from the user. Inside the num2, there is the input of the second number from the user. So here the int sum is equal to num1 plus num2, and here the system.out.println is like this. This is the blank, and the system.out.println sum is equal to, that is the sum. Right, now I'm going to run this program, that is the add accept. I'm taking this, that is the add accept. I give the class name here, that is the add accept, and here this program will be, that is the add accept program will be there, that is the add accept.java, and you will, that is in front of you, that the when you compile the program, the dot class file has been created by the compiler, that is in front of you. So here this is the program, that is add accept, and this is a program that I shown you, and I explained this program also, and I write this program inside the notepad and save with the class name with the extension .java. Right, now I'm going to run this program. That is the code run the program, that is the Java C, and here is the add accept.java. Right, is the add accept.java. The program is being going, yeah, program compiled successfully, and there the Java, that is the add accept, because when we run the program at that time we need to write the Java space and the name of the program. So here I will write here, that is the 12, right, and I will write here that the 10. Now the answer, that is the 22. So this was the program to implement that the two number they are been given by the user, and our program will print the sum of those numbers. Now here the one more thing, that is the Java util package. The most important package contains a large assortment of classes, right? Interface that supports the broad range of the functionality. Java.util package also contain one of the Java's most powerful subsystem, the collection of the framework. The collection framework is a sophisticated hierarchy of the interface and classes that provide the state-of-the-art technology for mapping the group of the objects. So here, this is the Java.util, that is the util package, contains this quite large functionality list of the classes here. We till now we have used the one class that is here, that is a scanner class, because we are using the functions of the scanner class, and we have used also the function of the scanner class. So these were some more interfaces that defined in the java.util, and here these are the classes that will be defined inside the java.util. So here the interface defined by the java.util are shown here. These are the so much interfaces, right? And this was regarding the for loop to take the input from the user, and regarding the scanner class and how we will create the object of the scanner class, and how we can use the functionality of the scanner class. So we have done this all in this lecture. Myself, Dr. Kumar, Department of IT, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology, SIRT, the SAGE Group, Bhopal. I welcomes you, and this heartily welcomes that for watching this video, and thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.